on the program is newspaper review.
Right, welcome back to the program. Good morning, Nigeria. And we have I have two papers. I'll start with
Chukudi Okoli.
It's okay. You'll introduce me later. Life is what we call it. Please go ahead.
What are you? You have issues with him?
Yes.
You have issues with him?
Yes.
Oh.
Let's go, please, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
All right.
Claire, it happens.
Well,
you don't know my blunders when I was a presenter.
That's why we're not robots, you know. That's why we are not robots.
Well, that's true.
I mean, we are humans. All right. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for that gap. So let's begin with the New Telegraph. Fubara's whereabouts unknown after Tinubu declares a state of emergency in Rivers. You can find the details of this story on pages 2, 3, 5, and 27. So that tells you the scope of the content of this report. But it has riders there. Suspends governor, deputy, assembly, exempts judiciary, appoints Vice Admiral Ibas, sole administrator. Links recent pipeline explosions to crisis in state. There's threatened anarchy in River State, says Ahamba, senior advocate of Nigeria. As Atiku accuses Tinubu of partisanship, you lack power to suspend democracy in River State. PDP tells Tinubu, President stampeding the law. Lawyers, we don't know which lawyers are those speaking. But that's the report on the front page of the New Telegraph. Now, the unpaid rent, Wike revokes PDP National Secretariat's land. The writers say revocation attempt to stifle opposition, PDP, it's done in bad faith, says CP-PDP, as Rivers chapter threatens to expel Wike for alleged anti-party activities. Again, read up this story on pages 2, 4, 6, and 7. Senate probes Cameroon's alleged annexation of Nigerian territories, set to compel social media platforms to have local offices. And again, these stories you can find on pages 3 and 4. And I just quickly get the other paper that's with us this morning. That's the People's Daily. And People's Daily leads again with the political development in Rivers State. Tinubu declared state of emergency in Rivers. Also trending just a little above below the nameplate, Wike revokes RFO of PDP National Secretariat in Abuja. Reps passed Tinubu's 4 tax reform bills. And you see the picture of the president right there in front there, of course, with 2 riders to the lead story. Now, underneath the picture story, Nigeria urges swift action on Africa's water security. And there are other trending stories just at the foot of that paper. Senate probes alleged annexation of maritime territory, mangrove islands in Akwa Ibom by Cameroon. And Edo governor to probe Obaseki over $10 million spent on Observer newspaper. And fuel subsidy removal proves Tinubu's leadership mettle, Shetima tells Harvard alumni. Intervene in Ondo massacre kidnappings now, reps tell Tinubu. And so many other stories coming up now. So let me leave the rest for Dimola. So you have something to read.
Yeah, I do. Now, I have the leadership newspaper with me, and just above the nameplate, you are a noisemaker. Kaduna Assembly blast El-Rufai. Details on page 6. PDP kicks over Secretariat land revocation. Details on page 29. Oil workers threaten nationwide strike over expatriate quota violation. Niger residents pay cash to escape abduction. Details of that story can be found on page 7. And state of emergency. Tinubu suspend Fubara deputy Rivers lawmakers for 6 months. Then the riders here, we have timeline. May 2025, lawmakers served Fubara and his deputy impeachment notice. In January 2024, two speakers of River Assembly emerged. December 2023, Fubara and Wike signed peace deal. Fubara demolished River State Assembly complex, and in 2023, October, lawmakers attempted to impeach Fubara. Other state of emergency cases in 22 years. In 2013, Jonathan declared state of emergency in Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe State. In 2006, Obasanjo declared state of emergency in Ekiti. And in 2004, Obasanjo declared state of emergency in Plateau. Then we have federal government earmarks 700 billion to tackle tuberculosis, malaria, HIV, and AIDS. Reps passed Tinubu tax reform bills. Natasha takes sexual harassment case to BBC. Israeli strikes kill 413 in Gaza. Well, Chooks.
Natasha takes sexual harassment to BBC. Okay. Cameroon annexing portions of Akwa Ibom State. Are they not satisfied with the ceding of Bakassi to them? You know, there's this Igbo friend of mine. He said, if you hate this man is that if you give him a lie, you're going to begin find allowance. He said, you know why I don't like this man? If you give him allow, pardon the English, he will start looking for allowance. Cameroon is looking for allowance. We won't give them that. Anyway, they'll sort it out. We're happy the tax reform bills passed by the representatives so that governance can move. I'm starting from a very happy note because I'm a sad man indeed. Fine. Section 305 has happened. The debate is now open to everybody. Some are going to tell you Tinubu does not know what he's doing. Some are going to tell you the president, let them all have their say. You know, the government would always have its do or its actions. But at the end of the day, what you're asking is, how much has democracy in Nigeria advanced to the expectation of the electorate? I want to tell you that it's still a sordid state of affairs. We started warning since 1 week ago about the social cost of what's happening in rivers. We said Supreme Court judgments don't settle everything African. And that's exactly what is happening. Haven't you heard there were explosions somewhere there? Those were the things we foresaw. We knew some of these things will happen. That is why it is very important to be sure the caliber of people you're putting in governance. Very important. The caliber of people you vote in. The president heaped some blames on Fubara yesterday, you know, over certain, you know, but Fubara talked.
Is it the people that are putting them there, or they are putting themselves there?
That's a different matter entirely. Okay? Whoever INEC says wins is the person we recognize. But having said that, the president listed a few things he wasn't quite happy with. But Fubara was telling them there that he followed the president's advice, and when the Supreme Court judgment happened, he also, the politician is a man of many words. He tells you hold in the legs, you better go for his gonads, otherwise you might not get him at all. That's how it is. So having said that, quickly, the president didn't mention the minister of the FCT yesterday, did he? Because he's a sideshow. Officially, he's not recognizing these things. So when you hear, I won't allow him to dismantle my political structure and all that, those are African sideshows. And that is where you start addressing these problems from. The president has exercised his powers as granted by 305. He's done that. But the real problem is, what are the kind of promises that Fubara made to Wike and the rest of them before he got in there? Somebody said, I bought all their nomination forms. A man you buy a nomination form for should not even be a local government chairman. This country has to take care so that shenanigans do not befriend us on and on. Please, Claire,
you know, I want to restrict, you know, speaking on this because really, I mean that's the topic.
For discussion.
For discussion. So I want to, you know, draw you back to the issue of the annexation of Nigerian, territories by the Republic of Cameroon.
Yeah.
And, just to echo, the words of one of the, senators that moved the motion, that if it is happening, it's indeed a national embarrassment. Because according to this paper, because I was wondering if the ancestral parts that, Cameroon is said to have annexed and to have, imposed foreign laws by their gendarmes, if it was still part of the, the Anglo-German Treaty of 1913 that ceded Bakassi and all that portion, of the maritime area to them. But this paper says this is nothing. Is noting that the islands in focus were not part of the territory ceded to the government of Cameroon by the 1913 Anglo-German treaties and International Court of Justice's decision of October 2002. As such, encroachment into these territories is not only illegal, but has led to huge economic loss of more than 2,560 oil wells and gas reserves, which ought to accrue to Nigeria. Apart from that, the Cameroonian gendarmes have imposed foreign laws on 16 Nigerian ancestral homes and villages in the said Mangrove Islands. And I think this is, we should not, just gloss over this. Yes.
Obasanjo is not a coward by any measure, any stretch of the imagination at all. So when under him Bakassi went to these people, he had decided that was the right thing to do. But you see, you tell people in life, don't push your luck too much. Yes, political expediency would sometimes overtake moral considerations. That's how it works in politics sometimes. But you could push your luck. I don't know whether it's Goldfinger. I read all the James Hadley Chase. No, yes, I read all that series and the Bond series as well. Bond told Goldfinger, it was, that told Bond, I hope I'm right. He told him, because they found him on his premises when James Bond had no business being there. He told him, Mr. Bond, once is happenstance, twice is coincidence, 3 times is enemy action. Is Cameroon straying into enemy action? That is something Niger has to take up. You must, you see, the letter he wrote to his son's teacher, I'm talking about Abraham Lincoln, about how to bring up his son whom he was teaching. He told him at a point to learn how to close his ears to a howling mob and to stand and fight if he thinks he's right. It happens in life. So is it time for Nigeria to tell Cameroon, look, you're overreaching yourselves?
Well, folks, it's time for me to tell you that your time is up. Thank you so much for your review this morning.
Thank you so much as well.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
So we take a break now. Good Morning Nigeria continues. Stay with us.